Happy Saturday. It's another glorious, glorious day in Minnesota. It's sunny, and this morning, though, it felt like it was 13 degrees. So every time we get together on Saturday, we do this shoot the shit. And today we're going to do something a little bit different on shoot the shit. We're going to still keep it consistent with just getting together and hanging out. And I always go live a few minutes before so we can get our moderators up and people can go ahead and get live. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to send a message right now to Twitter letting folks know, hey, cool kids, I'm live. Check it out and join, and let's check in on each other. Let's check in on one another. Love, unity, hope, community, and together we will make it through this time. Right? Because it's true. We are stronger together. And of course, I always have to do PTSD and beyond. See, I got a theory right now that a lot of people are getting kind of squirrely and wondering what we're going to do. What we're going to do together. So I want to see how many people are here and do a check-in. So I'm going to say checking in with you and see who's there. All right. So I've got my cuppa. I want to show this to everybody. So I make myself a cup of tea, and I collect Starbucks cups, guys. So this is one of the Starbucks, wish you were here or you've been here cups. And this one is obviously from England. And you see it's got the old telephone booth and the little pot there. And a few other favorites of when you visit the great England. I'm kind of sentimental, so I like to drink my things, like my tea, out of either my England cup or my Wales cup. I don't have a Manchester cup or a Birmingham cup. I also have an Ireland cup, so I'll drink tea from those cups because that's actually where I learned how to make a cup of tea. And something that there's a debate about which tea, whether it's Tetley tea, there's a Yorkshire tea, but I like PG Tips tea. And as a matter of fact, PG Tips is a company that is doing this thing about sharing a cuppa, especially right now because so many people are in isolation, and we're just kind of wondering about how we can build the bridge instead of having the focus on distance. I'd like to challenge people today about building the bridge. So that's what today's theme is on Shoot the Shit, which is building the bridge. And one way we can build a bridge is to invite our friends over to do this. Again, there's no sponsorship from PG Tips. It's one of my favorite teas that I like to drink. Actually, it's the only black tea that I drink. And if you notice this, so this is a perforation of when you open up the box. And you can actually use this as a gift. So come on over. It's been too long. Why not invite a friend or family member, or maybe a friend that you've met online, to come on over and share a cuppa? That's what they call it, a cuppa. So I actually have this on my refrigerator because I like it. It's a really nice reminder. And you can even do like a to and a from, make something out of, Canva if you want, and send it to a friend and say, hey, let's get together for a cuppa. My door is open. So on every Saturday at this time, my door is open. My door is open to you. So I want to say, hey, hi to some people. Hey, Meg. Thanks. And then we've got someone else here today too. Lunchtime Delight. Don't know who that is. Do I know of you? Maybe don't know if you're a new person or not, but hey. So again, today's theme is building bridges. And I say that because if you notice a lot of the stuff in the media right now, whether it's on social media or even just talking to friends, talking to people that you know, the word distance is like in the forefront. So I want to challenge everybody to take a pause, and instead of having our focus on the word distance and the actual feeling of distance, I want to ask people to start focusing and redirecting your attention on the word building. Building. Instead of distance, building connection. So how have people stayed connected this week? We're doing it right now. So I want to give it up to you guys right now. I got my daughter here. We're all clapping because you showed up. You showed up and you're building, and you did something to build connection. Connection, 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 connection. So let me look at some comments here. I'm knocking. Hey, Deb, do you have a spare bowl of sugar? Yes. Yes, I do. I do have some extra sugar. No way, you're from Australia? Get out. Well, welcome. Thanks for joining. Holy buckets. So we've got the United States, the UK, Australia. Do we have any other countries joining us today? And the beauty of this stream is that we are building bridges and we're connecting all around the world, no matter what time it is. So I want to say thank you. And I'm proud of everybody for being here, because this is one thing that you can say you've done this week to build bridges and to maintain and sustain connection. I do have sugar. I do have sugar to share. You know what's really cool about the word sugar? Just a side tangent here. So when I was growing up, if someone was to say, hey, give me some sugar, that actually meant give you a kiss. And it was usually said from a mom to a kid, or like two people that were romantic. Give me some sugar, sugar. That's what they would say. So I find that funny, on how we try to remember certain things, especially right now, that make us happy. And for me right now, what makes me happy is this memory of, yes, come on over for a cuppa. Good memories and building bridges. So what do we got? What kind of doctor am I? Great question, Johnny. I have my doctorate from the University of St. Thomas in Minneapolis, Minnesota. It's in organization development. An OD is a combination of psychology, anthropology, and sociology. And my research to get that degree was all about stress. So stress and mindfulness. And so you can take a look at my website at drdeblind.com, and you can learn more about my education. And so right now my practice and what I do is I help people with chronic stress and post-traumatic stress disorder. See, I live with PTSD, and on my journey of getting my doctorate, I decided to help myself naturally without medication, and I still don't take any meds. Because the options were medication and psychotherapy, and in a short story, that wasn't an option for me, especially since I was working on my doc. I knew the requirements of getting that education. And so I thought, well, you know what? I'm going to figure some stuff out and help myself. A mom with 2 kids in a stroller. So my kids now are in their teens. And so I help other people. I share my story for one reason, is because I find that other people have a story. And when I wear like my PTSD and Beyond shirt, it opens up people to say, you know, what is that? What do you do? You know, why are you wearing that shirt? What does it mean? And it helps people reduce their anxiety, and then they want to share. They want to share their story, and then they find out, wow, you can actually have, a good life and still have this, and it doesn't mean it controls you or consumes you. And, maybe the anxieties go down and you have breakthroughs and things start changing. And so that's the work that I do. I'm a big, peer advocate, and we do all different kinds of things every day of the week. Well, 5 days, right? 5 days of the week, except on Sunday and Friday. Those are the only 2 days I don't live stream. But Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday are the days that I do live streaming. So that's a good question. Thank you for asking. And thanks for being here. Thanks for being here. So what kind of questions do you guys have for me today? Usually on Shoot the Shit, we do a check-in and see where people are at. I mentioned that the theme is about building connection. So share with me about what else have you guys done this week that can show that you've built connection. And if you haven't done anything this week, let's think about different ways that you can add and build connection for next week. How can we prepare? Because one of the things that I have found is that how difficult was it with 2 babies? Oh my God. And I was working on the diagnosis of, oh yeah, by the way, you've got PTSD, and no, I didn't want to take any medication. Just a sidebar note. So what I did was I used myself as the experiment and the scientist and the researcher and the patient. So I tried a bunch of different things. I mean, everything from techniques from Russia to India to Canada, different places in the United States, inpatient, actually, no, that's not true, outpatient programs in hospitals. I looked at inpatient, but because I had 2 babies, I couldn't get the time away, so I had to try some other things. But it was intense. Yeah, but you want to know what the cool thing about it is that if anybody makes the commitment to doing it, anybody can do it. Now, and the other thing too is, you can read my dissertation. It's published online, and I dedicated it to my dad because it was one of the things that I made a promise to my dad that I would go all the way to school and get that type of an education. What I'm glad about it though is that I'm glad that I went to a place and had a very supportive environment that I could change my focus of study, because originally I was going to do all my studies on entrepreneurship. And I went back and said, no, I'm going to change it over to chronic stress and learn about trauma using, integrative therapies. And I had to repeat many, many months because I had already been in 18 months. So I had to repeat a lot of stuff. Hey, Lisa, how's it going, lady? How's Iris? So we're talking today about building connection and how we can continue to build connection. So what can we do, for example, let's just work on a micro level first. So, our closest level, what can we do to build connection with, say, our family and friends? Because those are the closest people to us. And what happens if we're by ourselves? So sometimes, people are thinking, well, I'm by myself, and, what can I do to build connection? When we look at what we have that's available, we can start seeing opportunities and possibilities. And so whether people want to go on a Zoom call, for example, or FaceTime, or even Skype or text message, what I would recommend for people to do is have scheduled and regular times of getting together. Because then what happens is you look forward to those times. So let's just hypothetically say someone says, you know what, I really like connecting with my best friend after work, and maybe we're co-watching a movie together, and I want to do that every Tuesday at 7 o'clock. Then go ahead and do it. Put it on your calendar. So whenever you're going through your work day, whenever you're going through the day and you're thinking, oh my gosh, I can't take this anymore. When we have that scheduled time, or even if it's not scheduled on the calendar, but you've agreed to it with your friend, hey, you know what? Let's get together and shoot the shit, and maybe play a game of chess, or, just see what each other's are, doing at, I'll give you a call on Thursday. It can be something so informal. Then you have something to look forward to. Iris is great, doing some physical stuff going on. Cool. Yes. We need to make sure that we connect. Now, a question might come up and some people might be thinking, what if I don't have anybody at all? And I can relate to that. If I didn't have my friends and my family right now, my best friend and my kids, I would be in that situation because I don't have family that's around. And the one thing that I would suggest is to find your tribe. So find people and things of interest. You can go on just other social media platforms like Twitter or Facebook, even Meetup now, and you can join different live groups. You can connect on the PTSD and Beyond chat every Monday. You can also look at our schedule. So like I said, we present 5 different options for people to connect. So there's always going to be something and some time that you can connect with someone of our group. And the reason why we do that is because we want to make sure that people know that while we might be isolated by physical distance, we're not isolated in our connection. We continue to establish and build connections. So let's see what else we've got here. There's a quote that I want people to think about. Who has heard of or seen the movie The Wizard of Oz? Can we get like a little hand raise emoji? Oh, I got a physical hand raise over here. And yes, Vera is present as always, monitoring and doing her moderation. I want to give it up for her because she spends a lot of time helping us. So who's seen the movie The Wizard of Oz? And no, I'm not going to talk about flying monkeys. Cooking day is my favorite on your timetable. Thank you. You know what's really cool about the cooking? So I'm going to do a side thought here. I saw someone yesterday say on Twitter that they had wished that somebody would start doing cooking. So on Monday, we've got the PTSD and Beyond Twitter chat, and that happens at 8 o'clock Eastern time. Then on Tuesday, we have a recap of it. And why I do a recap of it on Tuesday is because at the time that the PTSD and Beyond chat is happening, most of our friends over the pond and beyond, so the UK and Australia, you guys are sleeping. So we always wait a full 24 hours, and it allows people from all over the world to then add their comments on it. And so what I do is I put together a summary and we talk about it. And then we get more feedback on, well, you know, what do people want to learn? Because there's always an educational component to it. So you're always going to learn tips on ways that you can practically use, whether it's, you know, any sort of technique based on the subject. So we've got a new month, and every month is a theme. And I'm going to be sharing the theme for April by tomorrow, because I don't want people to go like, well, what's going to happen? On the weekend, I want people to take some time on Saturday, especially, to download, just take it easy versus I got to keep ramping up. Now, then the other thing is every Wednesday, we cook. And we already have things like hot chocolate on the menu. There's German pancake. There's banana bread. There's these, I don't even know what to freaking call them. What did you call it? A mound of oregano? Mound of oregano wedges, I guess we'll call it. I got to come up, we got to name the stuff that we make. So we already have all of these recipes. Oh, we made scones last week. And the cool thing is, again, if people are unable to attend the live stream of the cooking, then the videos are always posted both on YouTube and Twitch. And I'd like people to continue to follow. We gained like 5 followers on Twitch in one day because we've got a goal that we need to meet, which is 50. And then, of course, we've got over 10,000 friends on Twitter. And then I think we've got now 81, if I'm not mistaken, on YouTube. So there's like all of these different platforms. And the reason why we use different platforms is because everybody likes to, you know, stream on a different place. So we try to do our outreach because, again, one of our other goals is to reach as many people as we can because we know that people are having challenges. Now, how the cooking idea came about was I really like to cook. And someone has suggested, you know, you're really good at this. You should just put your videos out there and just start cooking. I'm not a trained chef. My papu was. But other people have been like, you know what, the feedback, especially on the scones, is that people are going to try it. It looked really super easy and fun, and they really liked the dynamic between my daughter and myself. So yes, please go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel. I do post some different things on each platform. So there are different videos on YouTube that there are obviously on the live streaming on Twitch, and then I do a lot of impromptu stuff on Twitter. I also do pop-ins on Twitch. So like if it's late at night and I notice that, you know, people are up and they can't sleep, I'll go live right then and there on Twitch. So make sure that you follow on Twitch, and then you'll get a notification of whenever I go live. Hey, Skycap, what's up? How's your Saturday going? Perfect. Hey, Monica. Oh my gosh, it's so good to see you. Oh, by the way, I just want to let you know that I have not forgotten about Lewin's Fight, Flight, Freeze. And it's going to come out on one of the weeks that we're going to be doing and looking over April, okay? So I just want you to know I have not forgotten. I still remember. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right, so we were talking about The Wizard of Oz, right? So now I got to be honest with you guys. When that movie was on when I was a little kid, I loved watching it because Glenda the Good Witch man with that outfit, that was like an outfit that I would have worn as a child. Like, I love those big poofy dresses where you could twirl around and it made, you know, like they went the whoosh, you know. The part, though, that used to scare me horribly was when, you know, Miss Gulch would be riding that damn bike and she was flying, you know, like she eventually flew in the air and then turned into the witch. They used to really scare me as a kid. But why I'm mentioning The Wizard of Oz is because the character Dorothy, what was it that she said toward the end of the movie? What did she have to do and click her heels 3 times and say, there's no place like home? There's no place like home. God, I'm going to get emotional now because I've been thinking a lot about this quote. There's no place like home. She didn't say, and the author of the book, right, didn't say, there's no place like work. There's no place like the office. She didn't say, and he didn't write, there's no place like politics. There's no place like religion. There's no place like church. It didn't say any of that. She clicked her heels 3 times and had her eyes closed. And she said, there's no place like home. There's no place like home. There's no place like home. And this place right here is my home. You guys are in my home. And we're building a connection together. So as you go through your week, this upcoming week, I want you to think about that quote. There's no place like home. And who are you inviting into your home? Who are you inviting into your life? How are you building bridges? How are you building connection? Now, there's something else that's really cool about this quote. There are a lot of other activities going on. And there's a gentleman that I follow on Twitter. His name is Anthony. And he did a sing-along yesterday. It was absolutely phenomenal. And through song, he built connection and community. Now, he couldn't hear me singing. My kids could hear me singing. He couldn't hear me singing, and I couldn't hear anybody else singing. But we knew that we came together in unity and community. And whether it's out of love or compassion or kindness or empathy, we all came together at that 1 hour to sing. So everybody came together. Yes. Actually, no. His last name, I think, is D, if I'm not mistaken. Skycap. I'll have to look it up. Vera, can you look that up for me? You know the guy who, his name is Anthony on Twitter that did the sing-along yesterday? And it was at 7 o'clock UK time, which was 1 o'clock our time. Yeah. So how are you building connection? How are you building community? And in your own home, how are you maintaining there's no place like home? Because right now, home is what we've got. Home is what we've got. Sweet. Thanks, babe. Home is what we have. You ever go to someone's house and you like, or you meet somebody and you feel like, I feel like I've known them my entire life. Remember in the movie The Wizard of Oz? She had just met the Scarecrow, the Tin Man, and the Cowardly Lion. But she said, it's like I've known you my entire life. Like I've known you my entire life. Isn't it wonderful when you meet someone and you're like, gosh, I just met you, and yet it's like I've known you my entire life. We just pick it up and it's like, wow. Or you have so many things in common. There are people that we don't know yet that will come into our life and that will be like that for us. So be open and be mindful of when somebody does reach out that, you know, is connecting with you because of a common interest or because of maybe something that you said online or a quote or maybe something that you just happen to make a comment about, especially now. Yeah, people were doing a movie together. You know what's interesting about that, you guys? Does anybody know how to do movie streaming with other people? So, and I'm asking that are in different countries. So I know there was a source that I tried using, but one of my family members doesn't have access, and it was through Chrome. So I'm trying to figure out ways where you can actually, you know, watch a movie together on the same platform. So yeah, so Meg and I made banana bread, and she did a phenomenal job. You guys, this is like bakery quality. The whole thing has got like that cut in the middle and everything. Beautiful golden on the sides. And so we're going to make banana bread. Now this recipe, was it 1958 or 48? I bought this old cookbook. I love collecting old cookbooks, okay? I find that there's like the best recipes in there. And this one literally is add all the ingredients together and bake it in a moderate oven for 45 minutes. I mean, that's the instructions on it. And so we're going to make this banana bread and call it Mrs. Hutchinson's banana bread because that's the lady, that's her recipe, and that was her contribution to, you know, have donations. And that's another thing that, do you know that, well, I should just ask the question before I actually share the answer. It's a little factoid. So what is the one thing that we can do that everybody does in the world that builds connection and community? What's the one thing that we do? 1948, thanks. What's the one thing? In addition to this, but I don't think there's the research on this. It's sharing of food. Do you ever get together in some cultures? Like, I'll tell you right now, the Greek culture is like, the more food you have and the more people who come over. And I know right now that's a little bit difficult because we're all in our own homes. But the making of food and the sharing of food builds connection. I've been in places of the world where I haven't been able to speak the language of the country. And I've sat with people who don't speak any English at all. But yet we've shared some freaking good barbecue. I went one place, it was not in the United States, it was over in Europe, and a guy was trying to barbecue. Making chicken, and I'm like, no, you're going to burn it, right? Didn't speak any English at all, and then had this barbecue sauce, and it was labeled American barbecue sauce. So I was like, oh, this is interesting. And so I actually just reached over to, like, you know, can I have the tongs? And he just handed them right over to me. And so I just showed him. And I knew that he didn't understand what I was saying in English, but we were able to communicate through motion, nonverbal, right? Gestures. And then to share that meal was amazing. So over food, people can connect. Think about picnics and barbecues. So again, you might be thinking, yeah, but I'm isolated now. How will I do that? You know how you do it? You do it anyway, even though in your house. Get yourself a nice tablecloth. Lay it on the floor in the kitchen. You know, put it in front of the window that has, you know, the outside and the sunshine and all the birds and everything. And have a picnic. Put some candles, do something romantic if you have a romantic partner. If your romantic partner is not in the same place, because I know that couples are struggling right now, you can still share that moment through video camera. Yep, eat and cook. Absolutely. Absolutely. So think about, again, the phrase, there's no place like home. Think about building connections and staying connected with each other. So that's my, I don't say homework for you guys for next week, but I want you to be mindful on how exactly are you staying connected? How are you building connections? And lastly, how are you making sure that your home there's no place like home? All right, you guys, this is Dr. Deb on Shoot the Shit with PTSD and Beyond. Well, what are you the doctor of? Oh, another person's asking this question. Maybe what I should do in the beginning is actually say that. So bored out of mind. I have a doctorate in organization development at the University of St. Thomas, and my research and practice is in chronic stress and post-traumatic stress recovery. And our OD is a combination of anthropology, sociology, and psychology. But I thank you for being here, and let's make it a great week, and make sure, like I said, we continue to build community, and we continue to have our house is no place like home. I'm going to have my cuppa. You guys are awesome. Thanks for being here. Make sure that you follow and subscribe, and whenever I go live, y'all will know about it, and we'll see each other next week. Unless, remember, there's also the other days that we do get together a week. All right, you guys, have a good one, eh?